All right, let's start off my first Procreate tutorial with with an iPad Pro and an Apple Pen. I don't think the Apple Pen is absolutely essential to doing this tutorial. So if you just have a regular iPad and you want to just use like a soft tip brush or something like that, what's nice about the pen is, I mean, if you do have an iPad Pro, go ahead and buy the pen. You'd be crazy not to. But my point is that if you just have a regular iPad, I think you can get away with, you know, one of those nice look on Amazon for a nice soft tip pen. What I want to show you guys real fast though is if you ever wanted to change the color of what you just drew, look at this. Watch. I go over here up in the top right, grab another color, and then just pull it out right on top of. Well, that filled it in. Let's try it a different way. There we go. So you can do some easy fills like that. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with telling you what I just did to get rid of that. Just a double tap on the screen to undo. You will have a lot of double tap marks, smudges on the glass of your screen. I'm trying my hardest not to touch the screen, but I just can't resist undoing like that. You can also undo things though by hitting this little, like where I'm pointing right over here, this little guy right there. That's going to undo as well. So let's. And by the way, as we progress through here, you'll notice that you get little hints as to what I'm doing. If it's not obviously, to you guys, by just look right there. See that little thing that says undo paint stroke. Doesn't last long, but it will give you an indication what just happened. Okay, so let's try everybody's kind of least favorite thing, which is a tree, right? And I've just got this technical pen selected under inking. Okay, so these are just the default brushes. I have gone and added some brushes, right? But for this tutorial, we're just going to use all the basic ones. So I'm going to make a little sort of a kind of a Dr. Seuss type tree, and again, if I don't get it just right, you'll see that that it mysteriously undoes itself. And practicing for this lesson, getting my recording settings right for an iPad, I've drawn so many trees. It'll be interesting to see how this one turns out. They're starting to get a little bit more swoopy. That's for sure. I'll have to go back and look at some of my original ones, but yep, that's definitely a loose tree. Nothing hard edged about this guy, is there? And then kind of moving around frantically here, but and then I'm going to go through and kind of do some of the same thing just on the inside of this, more little swoops. And if you are using a pen, of course, you've noticed that kind of the more directly down you are, the smaller or the thinner you draw in most cases. Whereas if I kind of tilt it, let's see, it's not doing it so much with this pen, but some of the other ones have some pretty extreme tilt options on them, and that's sort of the power of this program. And well, using the pen, I guess, too, really, that you have that option. Okay, so we've got a nice little, almost looks like a candlestick is melting over here, right? the wick would be up here. And you can see I'm obviously running out of space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the little arrow up this way. See that guy? And just select everything. And you'll notice that I've got must have a little bit of something on the side of that over here, so I'm going to erase that, get rid of it. Okay, that'll give me just enough room to draw the tree trunk in here. And again, kind of keep things sort of loose. I imagine this is on a hill, so I'll just do that. Okay, now I could probably fill this in, but I'm not going to, at least not for long, right? Okay, well, nope, it didn't want to fill in that well, because I've got some nice little open gaps in here, but that's okay. I don't really want to do that. What I want to do is leave this layer alone. Okay, so this is basically my ink layer. This will be my fill layer down here. And I'm going to grab a little bit of a thicker pen. This maybe studio pen will work. And I'm just going to, as quick as possible, go through here and fill this guy in. And, as I'm doing this, can't overemphasize how nice it is to be able to just use kind of your left hand to work these little settings over here, right? So if I need to get in here kind of fill that in. And you do have the option of putting that. I'm not going to fill the whole thing. I'm just going to make sure I get the size of it. And if I bleed out a little bit, that's okay. It almost gives it a little bit of fun. But the point is, what I was about to say is that when I first opened up the program, I was playing around with some of the preferences, and I noticed that you could move that over to the right side, and I thought, well, I'm right-handed. I might as well do that, right? And then I realized that no, that's not a good idea, because I'm right-handed and I'm using the pen in my right hand, I should be leaving this alone on the left side, because that's where my left hand can go to. Okay. Let me undo that a little bit. By a little bit, I mean all the way. And I still bled through. That's all right. Again, if I really feel like fixing it, I can later on. Okay, let's try to quicken the pace up a little bit. All right. Yeah. Wait till you guys see the other trees I drew. If I decide to show them to you. This actually might be my favorite one so far, so I better not mess up this tutorial. I had some troubles with, I was originally screen capturing from within the program itself, which is an option. And it is a really nice one, although the sound, of course, I don't have a microphone connected to the iPad, so the sound's horrible. And I thought, well, I can record it in my other mic, combine the two together in my computer mic, and then here I'm going to fill it in like that. And I don't know. Then I spiraled down some sort of crazy, half-day long path of dealing with frame rates, and I don't know, the video was sped up and the audio wasn't, all sorts of stuff like that. So now I'm using a program called iShowU to do it all, which records the iPad. Much easier. All right, so let's make this a little bit smaller over here. And again, I'm still working on the layer with all the other blue, right? Let's try to get up in this little area. Okay, so hopefully you guys are just working right along with me. You don't mind. That's taking a while to do this. Okay, all right, get it all in there. Nice. Okay, so there are ways of selecting colors, and I could have filled the whole thing in and then try to do this automatic selection here. I'm going to show you guys. So, you can select anything by going over here to this little selection S, and let me point that out right up here. That's your little selector, right? And you notice just a moment ago I did, oops, twice I've marked that thing. I did kind of make this freehand selection over here. And coming from a vector background, I really appreciate actually how they've set up this freehand selection, because you can do things like tap. I'm just tapping here, so and I can make some nice little straight lines like that, right, to select things, and you can also undo easily too, right? So you could, let's see, go back over here. So I could tap, right, make a nice straight air part, loop around like that, do some sort of, kind of looks like a spaceship, not something else. But anyway, the point is that you can also go over here to automatic, and you can select something, and you can hold down the pen and go right or left, and you can see this little bar on the top, kind of changing the selection threshold of what is being selected. And then you can even take those things, and then next to automatic down there at the bottom, there's these two lines, right, one on top of the other, and that'll move it all to another layer. I just don't want to do that. I find it's not as kind of perfect as what I've kind of done over here. And you notice I did bleed outside the lines, but you can barely notice it. Okay, so now one of the main points of having your separate line layer, and let's just mute it for a second, turn it off, and your fill layer is, let's select this. So again, just got the layer selected. I'm just tapping on the layer, and then you get that select option over here. Now I'm going to go up another layer. You can see that it's still selected, and all these diagonal lines that you're seeing over here are basically the parts of the canvas that are not selected. Okay, so now I can grab a nice airbrush. Let's do a soft brush. I don't need to adjust anything, and nor do I ever really adjust anything in there. And then we're going to do some pretty little highlights on the side of this. So let's see. Yeah, that's about right. Actually, I'll probably bump that up a little bit for the initial shading on this. So just kind of shade on the side so you can see that I'm not drawing outside, right, of the tree at all. I don't have to worry about doing that because I've only got that fill area selected, but I am on my own layer. Okay, so just that fill layer just kind of is really being used as a selection device right now. And for the tree base, let's use the same color that we had for the tree, right? So do something like that. And then let's grab a darker color. And I might boost the brush size up quite a bit for this part. Okay. Now we've got that happening. And it's not going to hurt me to kind of keep things selected. I'm going to go, let's use a kind of maybe a charcoal-y brush for this part. And every video I think I choose a different one. But I'm gonna grab the this lighter color again, and let me just check this size. Okay, I could go a little bit lower. Well, I'm gonna just use the very tippy top of the pen for this. If I use the side too much, it's a little bit too thick, I think. But in some cases, it's okay too. So I'll go over here and like, there's really no in between actually. There we go. So I'm just going to try to make things a little bit lighter on the side of some of these swoops. So let me pull out a little bit. Looks nice. And I think it looks good with some of that green in there from the charcoal. I'm just going to try to get the top of that. And you can do the same thing on the opposite side too. So you could grab kind of a darker color and do some parts like that. Just a little something to kind of give it a little bit more depth. All right. Fill this in darker a little bit. And don't worry about going too fast. That was a note to myself, not you. You're probably speeding through this going, oh, I've already made 10 of these trees. Okay, all right. And, yep, it's looking all right. We could even maybe go with a full black over here as long as the saturation is turned up. Turned somewhere in the middle. And if you wanted, you could always take the brush size up to something huge and just kind of see what it would look like to throw in, some kind of like huge grain on that. Not really. I don't really like it that much. Okay, so let's turn the selection off. See, yeah, it's looking like a nice little pretty tree. And if you're going, well, I think I'm going to commit to this guy. What you could do is you could group all these, or not. Well, you could group these layers, and I've got layer 3 selected. If I swipe right on 1 and 2, you can see they get a little bit of this darker blue color. And right next to layers, you can see that you've got these 3 lines. That would group those together. Another thing you could do is just merge them all. So, like Photoshop, you've got your traditional kind of merge down options. Now, I could hit that 2 times to merge these 3 together. But again, what I could do is I could grab all 3 like this, and then pinching, right? You can pinch them into, your tree, and then you can swipe left, duplicate it. Oop, there we go. So I've now got 2 trees, one right on top of the other one, and then I'm just gonna hit the selection guy over there. Oop, looks like I've got something I need to delete. Do it on both of these. Okay, so let's go back to this tree, and that's a little bit lower. And again, selecting this guy. So again, I can just kind of, oh no. Well, that's okay. I'll show you guys how to delete a layer. Same thing. All right, so let's try that one more time. Duplicate it, select it, and yes, if it goes outside, stand a chance of losing it. And of course, you can reorder these too. So obviously, I think my smaller tree should probably go in the back. And how long have I been talking? Okay. So what I'm going to do here is kind of make a little sloping scene. Oops. And turn that off. There we go. And I'll just give you an idea of where we're headed with this. So take this will be just kind of a little quick sketch layer for a moment. So I'll do sort of a let's grab my inking brush, technical pen. All right, so we'll have kind of a sloping little scene, thing like that. It's actually not that bad. Do some, I don't know, cliffs and things like that in the background. We'll play around with some textures for sort of wind and stuff like that I think will look cool. And we'll do most of that in another video. But, before I leave, I'll remind you guys about this many times, I'm sure. If you want to make a straight line, this took me a couple days to figure out. Watch this. So I'm going to make this squiggly line, but then at the end, I'm just going to hold with my pencil, and it becomes straight. How cool is that? So, if you're making a spaceship or something in perspective, hold it. You can do all that cool stuff. Okay, so, let's call our tree section quits for right now, and I'll keep building up this scene in another video.